Welcome to the Get Real Podcast, your high-octane boost of full-on reality therapy for personal, business, and investing success with your host, Ron Phillips, because somebody's got to tell it like it is.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Real Podcast. Ron Phillips, Heather Marchant here.
Hello.
We just had a really cool day, Heather.
We did. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Okay, so this, guys, if you own a business, look at me jumping right into this, Heather.
Do it.
I don't know if, I'm sure that we've mentioned it multiple times. I don't know if you picked up on it or not, but our business is entirely, what's the word that just
remote?
flew out of my mind? Remote. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're recording this late for Ron on Friday. On a Friday. So just so you guys know.
It's been a big week for you, Ron. Big week.
It really has. It really has. If y'all didn't know, I am a grandpa now. Grandpa Ron over here. And I'm super excited about this. I've been looking forward to being a grandpa for a long, long time.
Like as long as I've known you. Because my kids would think of you like a grandpa because I
have been spoiling children for a long time. After mine were old enough that they were a different kind of cute, not the little tiny cute. I started spoiling other people's children, which has been so much fun. I really enjoy it. And now I have this awesome little grandson, and so that happened this week, guys. I turned into a grandpa. So
pretty amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So it's been, that's why it's a Friday afternoon, really. I mean, you had a little bit
we planned this to be in our normal time. And well, John had other plans. He just decided to come. And so anyway,
it's perfect.
Happy he's here. I'm looking forward to holding him more. And I'm just telling you right now, Heather, that if he comes over, it might interfere with our recording of podcasts. So,
you're like, I'm out. It's done.
I'm out. Sorry. Grandson's home. Okay.
Too exciting.
But we had a really cool day today. We thought we'd share with you guys. I mean, we have a remote business. We have people out of the country. We have people in the country, all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I know we've talked about this before, but because of that, we're able to get really awesome talent, and we're able to get people that fit our core values. And it's just easier because we can shop the whole country over. And
one of our core values is fun, and it's one of 4. That's 25% of our core values. And having a remote team and having fun can be a little bit tricky. Having a fun culture and work environment. And since that meeting has ended, Ron, I have received 3 text messages. Our team is relatively small, but 3 text messages thanking me for putting the time in and for putting together our Christmas party that we hosted for the first time I can think of on Zoom.
First time ever, because usually, because the company was based out of Utah. Well, since its rebirth, I guess I'm not going to say inception, because I did, as you guys know, have a partnership dissolution, and so the inception of Nuco, it's been in Utah. So we've had most of our people who have been in Utah, and even last year we flew people into Utah, and we did a company party in person in Utah. This year, though, even the people who are in Utah have moved out of the state because they don't have to be there. And wives or husbands moved, and, life happens. And so now people are everywhere. And we're thinking, oh my gosh, like we have to fly everybody all over the place during Christmas, which is impossible because everybody has family stuff they're doing and stuff like that. So, we decided to do a virtual party, and I'm not going to lie, Heather, I was a little bit concerned about it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, because
I thought it'd be really boring.
I mean, it's Zoom. And I mean, Heather and I are sitting here on Zoom, but this is like 20 minutes. It's not a company party. Heather and I get to blather on about whatever we want. And for whatever reason, you guys like it. So we keep doing it. And you know what? An hour and a half party where usually we go sit down to dinner, everybody chats and we reminisce and we do all this fun stuff, eat and pass out gifts. And we have this really cool party.
Yeah.
And so today, since I was going to be really different, and it's the first time we've ever done anything like that, really, I was a little nervous. But Heather?
It was really fun. So we did a favorite things party. I told Ron, I'm like, man, we should just like give a little bit for a second to give people ideas that are maybe in our same boat, that are trying to think of a way to celebrate with your team, but scheduling something's tricky. We did it during the day, which was something we really thought about. We want to involve families. We thought about doing gingerbread houses and involving the whole family of every team member. But we realized everyone has stuff. I mean, there's so much during this time of year that an evening is tricky to schedule. And then, so when we decided on daytime and just the team, not family members, we went with, okay, how are we going to engage people? So everyone sent in advance something that was their favorite thing. And we gave them a budget, and they sent everything over to my assistant who prepared all the slides. Shout out to Angel. She's amazing. And she prepared all of the slides, and everyone just went through. It was a full hour of just like, this is why I love this one thing that changes my life in some way or another. And even if it was like soap to a humidifier, it was all over the place with what people had considered their favorite thing. But you learn about each other, about what's going on in each other's lives and what people are interested in, which is really cool. And then at the end, they got to look back on all of those and pick one of those items that we're sending to them. So someone else's favorite thing, learning about it and having it become maybe one of your favorite things. Super cool.
And then everybody could just like shop for a couple of those things, whatever they liked from all of it, and get it sent to them, Merry Christmas. And, and then my wife found this other game, which was also really cool. It's like the my new favorite version of beer pong.
Yeah, true.
Because I never really understood beer pong. I figure if you want to get drunk, you could just get drunk. You didn't need to really toss a ball into a solo cup. But we used solo cups, Heather, and because of that, it was set up very similar to beer pong. There was just no ball, no beer. But it was fun. We put 60 beer pong cups out.
Upside down.
And numbered them 1 through 60. And we just put stuff underneath all of them. Like Merry Christmas stuff. And some of it was like, some of it was like, what did I get? I got something that was so not cool.
What did you get? Now I'm going to look it up because
that's how bad it was, guys. I forgot what it was, but there was some like, you got punked stuff, and then
you had an empty cup.
I got plenty of empty cups. We had 10 empty cups, and I must have gotten 2 of them. Poor Angel got like 3 or 4 of them.
Yes,
we let her keep drawing though, guys. I didn't get extra draws. What did I get? It was something like I
know, I'm looking. You got $1, and then you got a $10. You got an empty cup. What was your other thing? I can't find it.
I don't know. She probably didn't put it down because it was pathetic, whatever it was. It was like a get out of jail free card in Monopoly. You're just like, oh, I'm probably not going to jail. And even if I do, this is stupid. I can just pay $50 to get out. Anyway, It was kind of like that. But there were really cool prizes under there. Several of them had $500 under them. Some had $100 under them. And some of them had really funny, but good gifts underneath
like
them.
White elephant type of things.
Yeah. But kind of cool stuff. And anyway, we had an hour and a half worth of a really good time. Like we do, making fun of each other and having a blast. And we did it on Zoom. So if you're a business owner and you have remote staff, even partial remote staff, you can include everybody and you can have fun. This doesn't have to be drudgery on
Yeah.
Zoom.
And I would add to that too, that a lot of families are remote this time of year, right?
Mhm.
If you have family living across the country and they can't travel or whatever home for the holidays, plan a family Christmas party and get on Zoom. Super
It's a
fun.
great
There's
idea.
there's more and more ideas online right now, you guys, to go and make it fun. There's a couple companies that have come and emerged out of COVID that plan activities for people. We've hired them for one of our events and we did a murder mystery. There's escape rooms, all sorts of stuff you can do over Zoom that are a blast. So,
And I'd just like to say, though, that the one that we did today is the best one we've done.
True.
Probably because we planned it. It wasn't planned for us. So we got to put our own personalities into it. Heather did an amazing job putting it all together.
Anna White.
With Angel's help. Yeah, she did a great job with the solo cups. So there's ideas out there, guys. You just take care of your people. Make sure you take care of your people. Everybody feels like Christmas has been a great time of year for them.
Yeah.
Whether they celebrate it or not. Somebody told me the other day that they didn't celebrate. I said, it's okay. I'm celebrating for you.
Yeah.
I'm still
No
giving you a
problem.
Christmas gift. I don't even care.
Yeah.
So you can bah humbug me when I give it to you. I'm still giving it to you.
I never turn down a reason to celebrate ever. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been known in my neighborhood to put together a party for lots of randomness because I think it's awesome to be able to celebrate. So
it is one of my favorite times of year. My wife and I love this time of year because we just we randomly give stuff out to people, and we try really hard to give it to people who get in the service industry, the hospitality industry, people who just kind of get overlooked. And it is so much fun.
yeah.
And Mr. Bah Humbug is one of our favorite waiters at a local restaurant here. And it doesn't matter. We're still gonna hook him up for Christmas. So
I love
that's
that.
a lot of
That's
fun.
awesome.
Our favorite restaurant. We walk around and give all of the servers that have served us during the year a big cash tip, and whether they're at our table or not. We just walk around and give them money. It's
Really?
a lot of fun. Yep, it's a lot of fun. So,
Awesome.
but I mean, goodness, they've served us all year long, and most of these people we know, they know us by name because we eat out a little too much at that particular restaurant. So, whatever it is for you, get out and enjoy. And even if you're not a Christian, who cares? Everybody during this time of year is just kind of in a different giving spirit. I like to believe it's because what Christ taught. Whether you believe in him or whatever, it's what we all should be doing anyway. And so whether you believe in him or not, we should all be good to each other. And this is a great time of year to just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
And try to really remember the people who may not be remembered. At least that's what we try to do. And it's a lot of fun to just give. And if you don't have money, give of yourself. Give somehow this month. It's just great.
Yep.
It's
Amen.
also a great time of year, Heather, because the year is ending.
Let's get it over with.
It's ending. And to me, this is like it's time for the preparation of this rebirth into a new year. It's a really cool time because if you're not happy with something, you can just change it.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to wait until January to change stuff. That's not what my point is. But this is one of those times when everybody acknowledges it's the end of something. It's the end of the year. Calendar year is over, right? In business, unless you're one of those funky businesses that has a mid-year end of your business year. This is when the business year ends too, for tax purposes and everything else, right? It's a great time to sit down and just reminisce on what happened.
Yeah, we've been doing that together, going through our individual, the businesses, our individual lives as well. I mean, I love the traction approach that kind of bridges your personal life with work life. That the beginning of the meeting, we go through our personal best and our business best, that it's kind of all encompassing, which is.
So for those of you who are new to the show, Traction is a book. That book teaches EOS, which is the Entrepreneur Operating System. And it's a way to run your business, a methodology to run your business. That's what Heather's talking about.
Yeah. But we reflect on that every quarter, but then to do it at the end of the year, it's different. I mean, 4 quarters is a long time. Being able to reflect on what went well and what we want the next year to look like, right? So looking back for, a hot minute, I guess, but a lot of looking forward, what we want next year to look like. And it's where Ron lives a lot of the time. I mean, you have a great gift of being a visionary, seeing and projecting what you want to have happen. And I follow your lead a lot. And I've been trying really hard in the last 6 months to more not rely on your vision, that I actually, work at it. It takes work for me. For you, it's a little more fun and natural. It's your genius zone. But looking and seeing and projecting what I want for 2023. So personal, business, all of it.
It's a great time of year to do it, because typically people are slowing down while they're ramping up all of their family stuff and the holidays. But, almost everybody, with the exception of retail and some other industries, most people are taking some time off. During that time off, it's a fantastic time to sit down and plan, try to figure out what the heck. If you haven't started planning by this time in December, you're behind.
Yeah.
And, starting out the year with no plan that's a recipe for at least a quarter of not a whole lot happening. Because you have to be able to deliver this vision to your team and give them the path to be able to get to wherever it is that you want to go as a company or in your personal life or whatever, right? Like Heather was talking about, actually plan things out, visualize them, and set a plan out to go accomplish them.
Yeah. It's such a great time. I agree, because I feel like if I waited till January, I'd already be missing. If we tried to schedule that, Ron, you'd be a week or 2 into the year before you really.
Especially if you're trying to do it with other people that are on your team. And if you wait until the end of the month, well, everybody's gonna be gone. Christmasing and New Year'sing and everything else, right? And whatever that means for you. And for some people, that can mean that 2 days after the New Year, they're not worth anything either, depending upon how you celebrate New Year's. So it's a really, really good time. And I love getting a little bit of a jump on the new year anyway, because goal setting is really important, but vision is more important. And everybody equates January with goal setting. Really, all goal setting is just the plan. It's just a plan to get to your vision. That's really all it is. But if you don't have a vision, all you're going to end up doing is creating New Year's resolutions that you stop doing within 2 weeks, like everyone else on the planet. And you're just going to feel like a failure before January is even over.
That's a really good point. What is the difference to you between the vision component and a New Year's resolution?
I think that this is where people get confused. Everybody tries to figure out how to stay motivated. Well, you can't stay motivated. There's like so we all like to live at a stasis, right? So if you guys picture a graph, and the graph, it's a line graph, right? And the middle line is 0. It's like stasis. We're all comfortable there. And what happens is as you get motivated, you go up, right? Emotionally positive, everything's going good. But the first thing that happens knocks you down. It usually knocks you down below the line. And now you're like, man, this sucks. And so your natural inclination is to go back up to stasis. And if you stay there, then you don't grow. Nothing changes at all. So what you have to do is be able to get that line to, instead of being a flat line, to be an increase, because you are going to have positive motivational days and you're going to have time suck, horrible stuff happen. Life's going to get in the way. And you have to figure out how to keep yourself plodding along in spite of all of the stuff that happens, good or bad. And if you count on motivation, you're just going to be constantly falling down below the stasis line and crawling to get back up to what mediocrity is. A vision, in my opinion, is this idealistic place that you want to get to. It's already set, and you're just going to keep working on it until you get there.
Yeah, because a vision to me has a lot of feel attached to it versus a goal. For example, let's say about like your physical health, that a goal is I want to lose X amount of pounds, or I want to lift X amount of weight, because that's kind of where my mindset's at. But if you have that as a goal, a vision is more about how I want to be healthy to the point that I can run around and play when I tell this to my kids all the time. Like, why do you work out, Mom? I'm like, because I want to be able to run around and play with your kids. When I'm a grandma someday, I don't want to be hobbling around or using my walker or have to take the elevator instead of the stairs. Nothing against people that do. I don't want that in my vision for myself. And that's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different motivation than I need to lose 10 pounds. Whole different thing. So
yeah, and connecting with the real reason why it is that we're doing things is important.
Yeah.
And I think vision typically, at least for me and for a lot of people I know, vision is usually involves something bigger than me. All right, if I set goals that are selfish, well, I'll still hit them, but it's not as it's a little more empty, and they're fleeting.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
It's, man, I really want to make this amount of money so I can buy this kind of car because I really want this car because of what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What's the car do for me? And I've talked to a lot of people who've had financial success to where they could buy whatever car they want, and they can, if there's a gadget, they can go get it. They can go get whatever they want. Life at that point becomes, it's all kind of a so what?
Yeah.
So what? Okay. So you bought a Bentley. So what? What did it do for you? And typically, for most people, it's pretty fleeting. Like it's cool for a minute, and then it's not that cool anymore. I mean, I guess, Bentleys are always kind of cool. I don't want one, but I mean, if that's your jam, then they're always going to be probably pretty cool. But it's not like it doesn't really do anything for you any more than a Honda Civic. I mean, you get to do it in style, which, by the way, I am not suggesting that you shouldn't, because as Heather knows, I do like nice vehicles. But my vision doesn't operate around a cool car. It just doesn't. It operates mostly around my family, how I want to live, what kind of a legacy I want to leave. It's a bigger picture. And those things, that allows me to continue down the road without constantly needing motivation. It's kind of like this. Like, people ask me why I take pre-workout. Well, I take pre-workout because it amps me up. And I feel like more of an animal in the gym when I go in there, because Heather and I like to lift heavy weights, and I like to lift heavy weights. Well, I like that. I like the feeling of it. But I can't maintain, like, you can't take pre-workout all day long. You can't live in that moment all the time. And you really kind of need to cycle off of it every now and again, because otherwise it loses its impact. Exactly. That's kind of what motivation is. So if I can't go to the gym and lift without pre-workout, I've got a different problem, because the quote motivation is gone if you don't take the pre-workout, right? And so there has to be a bigger reason. There has to be a bigger why that you're going and doing what you're doing. because the motivation is fleeting as well.
Yeah.
If you're counting on motivation, you're just going to be constantly struggling, unfortunately.
So I haven't really talked about this on the show, I don't think, but Ron knows this about me. You know this about me. I grew up obese from a young age, pretty young. And one day I found this book, and I'm going to think of it by the time the show's over. But at the beginning of the book, it talked about why. It was the first time that I really checked into the why behind why I wanted to change my lifestyle and have a healthier body. And I haven't told very many people this, so now everybody knows. But I wrote the answers to these like 15 or so questions. And it was very specific questions. And I got it on one page, typed it up. No shocker, I'm a typist. And that was years. This is decades ago. And I folded it in half and I put it next to my nightstand in college. And I would kind of untape it and read it and tape it back up again. And I didn't have to, for a while, I read it all the time. Like, why am I doing this? This is hard and it's tough. When you are heavy, to work out is literally painful. And so I had to recheck into the reason why, which in a lot of ways, reflecting on it, since you were saying this, Ron, this is what came to my mind, of my vision for my life. It was really essentially that's what it was. And I had tried everything you can imagine since I was about 10 years old to change my lifestyle. And that was when it finally stuck for me, because I knew why I was doing it, not just, if I just could fit into this size clothes or whatever. So I think we're probably belaboring the point, but man, it's so good to really get clear as to what you want in 2023 and the why behind it. So
yeah. And I'm just going to guess because while I know that about Heather, I don't know what was written on your paper, but I'm going to guess that most of what was written on your paper was an internal thing and it was not external.
Yeah, a lot. Yep.
And I think a lot of people, so if we're just talking about fitness, because it's one of the things that in January, everybody goes, I'm going to get fit this year. And almost nobody does. Yeah. And I think in almost every one of those situations, they're either trying to get fit for someone else, or because they think someone else wants them to be fit, or because externally, especially right now with social media, like they just want to look better for everybody else. And that is a losing game, people. Mm-hmm. It is financially, it is in your fitness, it is in family, it is in every way a loser. I have to figure out what is it that I want and why is it that I want that? And I need to figure out a little bit deeper than I want to look good naked.
Yeah.
Right. I need to figure out like why is that important to me? Because until you can connect with that, like Heather said, being fit it's hard work.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because so many people, there's all these jokes. One of my favorite comedians has this bit about going to the gym, and he's like, "Why are you here? You don't need to be here." And the funny thing is that they look like that because they're there, because they've been there for a lot of years, because they eat right, and because they do all these other things. And it's comical because he's completely out of shape, and part of his shtick is that he's out of shape. But and yes, we may be belaboring the physical component here, but every single one of the pieces of a vision, it's the same thing. It's all hard.
Yeah.
Becoming financially well off is hard. It is not easy. It's simple, but it is not easy.
Yep.
Being physically fit is simple, but it is not easy.
No.
Being a great husband, wife, father, mother, person, Christian, if you're one, it's all simple, but it's not easy. None of them are easy. And so, if you're waiting on motivation, and I think that's part of the thing you were saying, I don't want to like gloss over it, Heather. Part of what you were saying was that the motivation thing didn't work.
Yeah, no.
For years, it didn't
A long
work.
time. Yeah.
And those of you who are seeing this on video, you're looking and going, obese?
Yeah.
There is no way. And when Heather first like came out of her shell and actually showed me the picture, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is, you guys, what she's been able to do to transform herself and maintain for years is not something that happens because of motivation. It's because of, I am changing. This is why I'm changing. And I'm not going back to that lifestyle again.
Yeah.
That's different than a motivation. It's just
so different. So different. I think that time was the first time I didn't really set a weight loss goal. Like, gonna drop 20 pounds by this date. No. I mean, I dropped probably 75 pounds over the course of, several years, but it was, man, I fell in love with exercise because I opened my mind up to like trying something and not just hating it, just stuff. Oh, I could go, this could be an hour-long diatribe about it, but just, having that clear vision. I remember only a couple of the answers from that paper. I'm sure I have it somewhere in a box in my house, but it really was about how I felt inside and how I didn't like that I do a hike without having to take lots of breaks, and I couldn't really enjoy it because I was in my head just thinking about how heavy I was breathing instead of being able to enjoy what I was seeing, if that makes any sense. It was so much about what it was like living in a body that felt like it was not mine in some ways, and going, man, I don't want to feel like that. It was so little about how people perceived me and more how I perceived myself. So,
and if you just think through, there's so many people that I've met through business, mostly business, where they're living that way in their personal and professional lives. Like they're a complete mess. And the way out is simple, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm saying is that this time of year, once everything slows down, which is usually right after Christmas, and you get a pause for about a week, it's a great time to sit and just reflect on things like that. Like, am I really living the life I want to live in my business, in my spiritual life, in my physical life, in my family life, with my friends? I mean, or are there things that I would like to change? And when I say change, like Heather was talking about, like really change, take the hard route and just actually change it. It's this time of year too, when people get sold a whole bunch of things for fitness. I mean, for the fitness industry, like, it's huge, right? It's huge. So big. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing for the, for all the gurus, right? Because everybody wants to change their financial life this time of year too. Just whatever you do, don't take the easy way. There is no easy way to get fit. It doesn't exist. And there isn't. Sorry, it doesn't exist. There isn't really an easy way to get financially free either. I mean, I guess there are, but the odds of you winning the Powerball, I mean, let's just be honest. That's probably not for you, and for me, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, for me, it's not going to happen. I don't play it, but it's not going to happen. The easy button is the worst way to do it anyway, because you're not going to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. But you can do it. I mean, Heather and I come in here every week and we drop some kind of a gem about how you can do it, because we've watched literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people just through our company. That doesn't even count all of the people we know who are being helped by other people that we know. Tens of thousands of people who are doing it, all because they made the decision to do it. And then they're just sticking with their decision to change. It's really not much more complicated than that, but you have to go through the work of building the vision and why. It's important work. And this is a fantastic time of year. It's my favorite time of year to do it.
Yeah, I've known that about you for years, and it rubs off, surrounding yourself with people that view life that way, your inner circle of friends and family, super powerful,
There is something magical that happens. I think we talked about it on the show before, Heather. There is something magical that happens when you do what Heather did. When you write it down on a piece of paper or multiple pieces of paper, or like all over the freaking place, and you read it over and over again. And it's not like, the book, The Secret, where if you just will it to be, it happens. That's BS. That's not how it works.
Yes.
But
preach.
when you actually write it down, what really happens is we are built problem solvers. So if we're staring at the problem and what we want, that delta gets filled by creativity. In order to turn the creativity on and be open to the opportunities that will be placed along, they're all over the place anyway. You just don't see them because you haven't tuned into them. What this does is it tunes you into those opportunities. It's not magic. There's no secret spiritual sauce. It's literally just turning on what we've been given by God, which is our brain power, to solve problems that are put in front of us, and recognize the opportunities that are littered about in front of us. And that's really it. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, and from a financial perspective, Heather and I have talked about this, I don't know how many times. But when I say I want something, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It's a matter of time, is all it is. It's going to happen, and I get really creative about solving that problem. And again, it's not simple, or it's not easy, but it's simple. The solutions are always simple.
Yeah, you told me that the other day when we were chatting, actually, in our talking about 2023, of if you focus on what you want, and you allow your brain to really focus on it instead of telling you all the reasons you can't do it, like limiting beliefs or limiting conversation, even of like, well, this is why I can't do it. Instead, turning on the part of your brain, that creative part. And man, that's been so powerful, because I'm going, okay, this trying to achieve this for 2023 requires all of these things, is where my brain goes. And then I've been living in the space of, okay, how am I going to get that? Instead of living in the space of, there's no way, this is impossible, I can't.
Because it's, if you set goals or create visions that are really big, it can be very overwhelming. And that's what Heather's talking about. And some of you who are listening to this go, yeah, I feel overwhelmed every year with all the stuff I want. And I completely understand that. So what do you do then? Do you shrink your vision? Do you shrink your goals? Or do you get overly creative about how can I do this? Who can I involve to help me do this so that I can get where I want to go and not have to feel completely overwhelmed? And then when Heather and I are sitting down planning business stuff, that's what we do. Heather's like, I'll bring one of my brilliant ideas to the table, and Heather was like, oh my gosh, Ron, that is a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's no big deal. And Heather's in the back of her head, she's going, whatever, no big deal. I'm operations over here. This is a big deal. And we just sit together, and Heather's brilliance is her operational mind and rubber hitting the road, and my brilliance is coming up with solutions to every single roadblock. And almost every single time, it's not that Ron and Heather are going to do it all. We're going to involve a whole bunch of other people to help us do it. And by so doing, we're going to serve a whole bunch of people, both by employing them and serving all of the people that whatever cool vision idea this is serves. And it's going to serve us ultimately as well, and help us get more of the vision check mark boxes that we want our lives to look like. You can do the same thing. There is nothing stopping you. Literally nothing.
I have nothing else to add. That was great.
Merry Christmas, everybody. And whether you celebrate it or not, still Merry Christmas to you out there. So until next week, get out there and make something happen.
Bye, guys.
This has been the Get Real Podcast. To subscribe and for more information, including a list of all episodes, go to getrealestatesuccess.com.